With rants and raves, you'll be okay. And today is your lucky day. It is rants and raves with Gary K.
Good morning, everyone. This is Gary K, and welcome to another edition of our Rants and Raves video cast. Today's going to be a great day. I really want you to pay attention to this video cast because I doubt any one of you watching this doesn't know some person, some company, or some organization that's been hit by a cybersecurity attack, including in our own industry. But more importantly, there's a great opportunity for integrators in our industry to offer this as a service. So I actually asked Jessica McDowell, the Senior Vice President of Security Strategy at TD SYNNEX, to join me today. Jessica, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Gary. Always good to chat with you. Thank you for inviting me.
I appreciate you being on here. I know that TD SYNNEX just had their Beyond Security Conference in Arizona. I'm kind of curious, what were some of the outcomes, the themes, things that people talked about at the conference?
Yeah, it was a fantastic conference, Gary. I mean, I would say it's our best yet. I don't know how we're going to top it next year, but I'm sure we will. We had over 250 partners in attendance, and our content covered everything from industry trends to the economic outlook to those specific ways that TD SYNNEX supports our partners end to end in the security space. We talked a good bit about the overall opportunity in security. And I would say, with this economic uncertainty that's looming, the fortunate or, maybe unfortunate reality is the customers can't afford not to spend money on cybersecurity. The security industry is still looking at double-digit projected growth rates. So the security industry is doing very well, and that was really a key theme of the conference, just talking about what those projections look like. We talked a lot about enablement and tools too, Gary. There's just so much that I could say here. One area is services, right? We had a major push for services last year, and we saw over $50 million in services sales, and we had over 3,000 pre-sales support tickets per quarter, which are fantastic numbers. But I would say even more interestingly is that partners that purchased a service through TD SYNNEX in the security space over the past 2 years, those partners saw an average of over 130% growth in their security revenue, and they expanded their vendor line card by about 25%. So services is driving a lot for our
I have
partners.
a question about that. I have two other questions too, but I want to insert a question in here about that because I'm curious. How do you help? Like, if I'm an integrator and I'm selling AV gear, I'm selling digital, I'm like, this is not something I'm familiar with other than if I've been attacked myself. I'm sure the answer is yes, but I'm kind of curious how it works. If I'm an integrator who wants to get into, offering this as a service, I can't just like hang a shingle and say I'm doing that. Like, you must have some kind of certification, or what do I do? Like, what are the steps I would go through?
So first and foremost, any services questions can be routed through our dedicated email address, which is cybersolve@tdsynnex.com. So you can always start there when in doubt. But we offer services from wherever you are inserting yourself in the process. A lot of the partners are really augmenting us to staff their services bench because
that's what I was wondering about.
You have to go through, as you mentioned, a pretty rigorous process to get certified to be able to deliver these services. We have all those certifications. We can deliver services all across the United States. So really the partners are leveraging us to augment their bench. If they can't get to an area from a regional perspective, or if they're just tapped out, or if they don't have, the talent to be able to provide that today, that's what the partners are leveraging us to do.
Okay, Jessica, I'm curious. The security landscape is changing literally daily. I read all these stories in the mainstream news about, different kinds of threats. What are you seeing as the latest threats that are popping up?
Yeah, the news is there's no shortage of news on the security front. I would say phishing is certainly a top threat, Gary. It's really interesting that, during these phishing attacks, what we used to see was credit card information being stolen. But now we're really seeing a rise in attacks on extorting money from victims. So that's been an interesting dynamic to watch. Ransomware is always going to be top of mind. It's just continues to evolve because hackers get smarter. They find new ways around restrictions. They're now using generative AI, which is a hot topic. Now they're using this new technology to actually turn out new attacks more efficiently. So that's another interesting one. And then we're also seeing a shift in which industries are being targeted. So finance and healthcare, they've been top targets. They're still top targets, but we're actually seeing manufacturing with the highest number of attacks. So that was about OT accounted for about 40% of cyber attacks in 2022, and that's because criminals are now able to make a physical impact as well as a monetary impact. And then all of that, as I would say, it relates to integrators. Everything's on the network. You know, Gary, we've talked about this a couple of times. Everything's on the network, so everything has to be protected.
Yeah, and I think as we've said a number of times, there's a great opportunity for integrators to really offer that. I mean, you're in the organization anyway. You're connecting things to the network. Why not offer this as a service? Because a lot of IT companies don't really know where to start with this. As they've historically, a lot of companies are small and then all of a sudden are big, and it happens almost overnight. And they're just worried about scalability and scaling the network and not paying as much attention to that. So if I'm an integrator and you know, I'm curious how TD SYNNEX you know, enables their partner. You mentioned the email address, obviously, but how else do you enable your partners who want to expand their security practice? What do I do?
Well, the email address is certainly a good place to start, but I would say leverage any one of our many tools that we provide to our partners. You know, we talked about services, right? So, hey, we can augment your services bench. We can cover that for you. We also provide a lot of industry training via our enablement portal. So we have an enablement portal that provides vendor agnostic content as well as vendor specific content, which is a fantastic place for our partners to start. We also have a product business management team within our security and networking business unit, and these folks serve as thought leaders in various technology segments. So they're going out there, they're monitoring the industry, the trends, the solutions, and then they're delivering content back out to our partners on how they can come in and leverage TD SYNNEX to address these. I would say another area, Gary, is for new and emerging vendors, right? Everybody kind of knows who the tier ones are, but there's a lot of new and emerging vendors that are coming in and addressing specific gaps in the markets. And we are able to go in and look at a partner's line card and say, hey, you have gaps in your offerings here, here, and here, and here's vendors that would be great to fill those gaps. So just a couple of ways that we're able to help partners come in and start from zero on a security standpoint. But really, I would simplify it into four main pillars. One, we help you learn. Two, we help solve for technology ecosystems complexity. Three, we're going to help you deliver it. And then four, we help you evolve with the market. So, and again, shameless plug for the email address, cybersolve@tdsynnex.com is the first place to go if you need any help or have any questions.
And that makes it where it goes to the right person who can start frontline, help you right away. And this is a great opportunity here in both hardware, software, and services. So this is something that you should really seriously consider. You can, of course, learn more at tdsynnex.com. Jessica, thank you very much for being here today. I really appreciate this. Appreciate this review, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again.
Absolutely. Great to chat with you, Gary. Thank you.
rAVe Radio. With rants and raves, you'll be